Alright, welcome back to the Asia Go4WoT Cup 13, and we'll be getting into the grand final this time between Horsemen and BTI. So this is going to be Ghost Town again, and we saw Super Noobs take down IFTR in the previous matchup. So I hope that both these teams watched this and saw the mistakes that were made by a lot of teams seem to be falling for this, where they leave the northern cap open and they just get pushed into a situation where they take so much damage to resetting the cap that even when they get the reset, they are unable to close out the game after that. So I hope that these two teams will not be making these mistakes. I mean, Horsemen should have the experience, and we already saw them play on this map. They should have the experience to block off this cap. Last time we saw them, they pushed everybody over there, so I'm quite sure this won't be working again. They're already busy with the pickings, but let's talk a bit more about Ghost Time. As we could see, a lot of teams favoring this one side cap, and not a lot of defenders seem to be able to come up with a capable way of decapping it. I think that the problem herein lies that every defender seems to let the attacker get into the cap. They need to block the attacker before they actually get to put tanks in the cap, or they can only allow them to get a tier 6 into the cap. Once they get T32s into that cap, it just comes a downhill situation from there. I mean, T32s hold down, peeking on your heavies every time, you needing to go into reset. It's just a situation that never wins, but we'll be seeing what goes on in this match. I mean, we saw IFTR do some really incredible stuff against Super Noobs with the 3 IS3s capping behind the wreck, and Super Noobs not being able to close out the game quite well. So gonna be able to see, but I think Horseman is a more experienced team, so it would be more difficult for IFTR. I mean, Horseman is definitely the favorite team in this just because of their experience. So just waiting for the teams to confirm that they're ready, and we can jump into this game. Lost tanks have been picked, so we should be getting underway in any second now. This is the grand final, which means it will be in a best of 5 format, which means that either team will be defending twice and attacking twice. First team to get 3 rounds will win. If the score ends 2-2, we will be going into a tiebreaker map. Haven't looked up which the tiebreaker is. This is my mistake. I'll be making sure that I get there before the end of this game, if we get there. But first we'll be seeing Horsemen on the... Horsemen should be defending, if I get it correctly. As we can see, the lineups are very heavy again, although this is curious. The lineup that we're seeing here. Yes, Horseman is defending first. And I've got the team names the other way around. That's not good. Let's change that. BTI. And Horseman. Alright. So yeah, Horseman will be on the defense first, and the lineup picked by BTI is very curious. We can see they have 2 T32s and 2 RUs. Not sure how they're going to use the RU and why they're bringing 2 RUs and not a T54. Horsemen on the other side, they have a T54 lightweight and a T37. So in the light engagement, Horsemen will be losing out, so it's going to be crucial how the light from Horsemen decides to move around the map. If he gets called out by the 2 RUs and killed for free, then it's going to be bad for them, because then they're going to get flanked from every side. But again, this looks like a lineup that is favoring... Although with this lineup they could be going south as well, but it's another lineup which favors the north cap, just like in the last team. We're counting down right now. We'll be getting in game any second now. Right, there we go. Again, repeating the lineups for BTI, will be having a 110, an IS3, 2 T32s, 2 RUs and a T37, while for Horsemen we will be having 4 IS3s, a 5100, a T54 lightweight and a T37. waiting for this game to start. And I'm fairly curious to how they're going to be using the double RU251 setup in this, because I mean, it's not the map that favors the greatest amount of mobility, so kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. I want to follow these RUs in the beginning of the game and see where they go and how they position themselves in the map. Seems like they're moving towards the east side with the entire team, as predicted again, the entire team from BTI moving over to the eastern side of the map. But Horsemen is countering this move. Horsemen is countering this move like we saw in the previous time, going with all their tanks basically, except for the T-54 lightweight on the B to D line, and just putting a lot of pressure. As we can see here, taking the forward positions to make sure they don't get into that western cap, but I mean, yeah, still moving forward all their tanks. This could be ending up in a bad situation over here. They could be taking a lot of early damage. I mean, just Rex should be able to get one shot off while they cross past here, and he does get off a shot towards the 110, a good amount of damage. And I'm not sure what the BTI their plan is going to be from now on. I mean, Horsemen have kind of locked them down in the position over here, and it seems like they're going around towards the south now. So this is what I wanted to see a team do. We see Horsemen converging up in this area, and they're not letting the T-32s drive towards the cap, which means that they cannot start that northern cap, which a lot of teams like, and they still have this T-54 in the south over here, which will be giving them information when BTI decides to move up through the J line. And I'm not 100% sure what BTI is waiting for. They're trying to, I think they're trying to talk to each other and thinking about what they're going to do. For now, they're just waiting at the corner. We still see this double RU in the back over here. They're not being very useful yet. I mean, for now it's a very still match. Not a lot of movement. BTI got blocked off from going east, so now they decided to just stay. Let's follow the message. Alright, Donbass might be finding Knight of Sidonia, Tommy right here. They should be spotting each other, but no engagement for now. And it seems this was the moment where BTI decided to push up, and they're going with all their tanks over here towards the slope. And I think they're just going to keep going and take control over this line over here, while probably getting a guy on the cap. And I mean, Horsemen is still in a really good situation to react to this, though. I mean, they have control over the entire B to D line, so getting back to the cap is not going to be a real issue. And BTI is sending their T-32s first. That's smart because they can be hold down, and I wonder how long it will take before Horsemen start moving their tanks, excuse me, because by now they should realize that something's going on, something's happening, and they're not. BTI is not spotted yet, so for now they're pushing blind without knowing where Horsemen is. But the good thing is that they're not spotted. They might be spotted crossing here, but probably they won't. They still have the T-54 though in their side, which could be a big problem if he gets himself into a good position. Horsemen is not expecting this though. They're not really in good positions to deal with this. Problem is that BTI has that double RU that I'm not sure how useful it's going to be in this situation, and Horsemen still have the T-54 lightweight, which can just flank at any moment in time. It looks like Donbass will be moving towards the cap as expected to put that cap pressure on to make Horsemen to move. But real question is what they're going to do if this Tier 6 like dies. He gets in the cap now. He's pretty safe from this side, but if Horsemen take this, there's nothing he can do. Knight of Sidonia trying from his position to get shots, but he doesn't have a line of fire onto Donbass, so he's pretty safe right now. And Horsemen are moving up towards this eastern side, and I'm not sure how he's going to survive this. Oh, he's going to take a big hit right here from Gorilla. It does take a big hit from Gorilla, down to 302 HP, and just Rex could be finishing him off soon. And the RUs seem to be moving up, but I'm not sure about this though. Like, the RUs are very far away, but the push seems to be coming in from BTI, and big bounce onto Reaper, and damage being traded back and forth. But this T-54 is going to be really important, and the RU is getting flanked by the T-37, but The Argus are putting out a nice amount of fire towards these IH3s. Heat on the front. Chibi does take a big hit, and they have to go deal. One of them has to go deal with the T-37 now. Well, the T-54 line will probably just come and finish off Donbasit right now in the cap. And BTI is gonna have to push at one point. It's be falling back, and they really want to kill this T-54 lightweight over here. It seems like they're just pushing to get him, but it's leaving Nexus very open to get pushed right now, and Horseman is just pushing up to take out this T-32 over here, and it's gonna be a trade, a T-54, but BTI seems to be in an advantage position right now. Gorilla could go down to next. Oh, he goes down to the T-32, and Horseman is in a really bad situation right now. BTI has all the angles covered, and if they play it out correctly, they should be able to close out this game pretty quickly. Spencer does take down Donbasit, but he will fall any second now. He does fall. Ooh, but the beautiful flank coming in from Horseman and picking up two tanks very quickly. Nexus falls while Reaperman falls as well. Fuluso trying to empty his clip, it takes a massive amount of damage in return. You can see these RUs are really starting to struggle in the later phase of the game against the heavies, and Harata gets picked up by Horseman as well. EB is trying to run away, but takes a huge amount of damage in the side, down to 55 HP. There's not much he can do. He's getting flanked by a 5100. He should fall any second now. He does fall to Fuluso, and it's just the RUs left, and the RUs were great in the beginning, but they just struggled after. They were able to put out some good pressure, but when it mattered to it, because Horseman had more heavies than BTI did, this made so Horseman had more HP to play with. So even though it seemed like, even for me, it seemed like BTI were in a more favorable position because they did more damage, they weren't, because they just about evened it out by losing the RUs. As we can see here, those IH3s from Horseman just doing a massive amount of damage. Just Rex and non-TW just doing massive amount of damage from their positions, and not much they can do against them with the RU. RU fired 10 times, 8 hits, 3 penetrations. You see he's struggling to penetrate here. 8 shots, 6 hits, 5. It's not bad, it's not bad. So let's update the score. Horseman is a 1-0 up right now. And I'm curious what we're going to see from BTI now. If they're going to stick with the same lineup, or they're going to go more light with go more heavy. Some roster changes going on, nothing too special. I'm just waiting for all teams to submit their new lineups, and I really liked the Horseman's defense. You could see how they were actively blocking off that one cap, because they know what kind of bad position they get in if they allow the enemy to get in that capture, and they just made sure to block it off. And after that, BTI, they seemed to have a good ID, but they were open for so many flanks that they traded a T-54 for a T-32, but in the end, the more HP that Horseman had, and the fact that they had the 5100, which can just do 1800 damage very quickly, just made it sure so that they couldn't win that engagement in the end. But once the 5100 and the T-54 go back into the game, they just started losing HP very quickly, even though they were up ahead in the beginning. Alright. It seems like they're still going with double T-32. I'd really hope they don't go with those double RU again. It didn't really work out for them, even though it seemed like they did a lot of work. It wasn't worth it. I really hope they go with something else instead of those RUs. Just curious to see what lineup they will bring for their second attack, and how if Horsemen will defend the same way. Like I said before, this is best of 5, so BTI will be attacking again, and then they will go to the defense. So Horsemen could go 2-0 up, and if they go 2-0 up, I think BTI, I'm not sure they will be able to come back from them. Horsemen just seem to be the better team right now. I mean, their initial move was okay. They made a few small mistakes after, which made them lose a lot of HP, but you could see how the individual player skill just brought it back eventually, and BTI had no answer to this. And I don't see a lot of lineup changes for Horsemen coming in. Their lineup was pretty solid, so I think they're just going to stick with what they had and continue with this. And double RU again, and I don't know about this. I didn't see the RUs work very well for them in the last match, so I'm not sure why they're bringing them again. I guess they have a plan to do with it, something to do with it, but I'm not sure though. It's because RUs, they're so vulnerable to IH3s and they have such a hard time penetrating them eventually that I'm not sure if it's worth it bringing two of them. Also, they're losing out on 300 HP on each one of them, so they're already 600 HP down in the beginning. So that's all extra damage they need to do. Just waiting for teams to get ready now. Both teams should be getting ready any second, and we'll be jumping into the second game of this best of 5 final between Horsemen and BTI. Horsemen currently being up 1-0 on the defensive side. Alright, we'll be getting underway any second now, just waiting for teams to confirm that they're ready. Going. Alright, BTI confirming that they're ready. So we're just waiting for Horsemen now. It's all this kind of things take time, you know, because they're getting their plan ready for the game, making sure they're prepared. Because in the end, it's about real money, so nobody wants to lose. So again, for lineups, we'll be having from BTI, we'll be having 2 IH3s, 2 32s, 2 RU251s, and a T37. And then from Horsemen, we'll be having 1 50-100, 4 IH3s, 1 T54, and a T37. Now the big thing is, how is BTI going to use these RUs? We saw them use them last time to frontally fight IH3s, which wasn't really the best thing. Like, the RU is a flanker tank. It's not good in straight one-on-one engagements. They need to find the lights from Horsemen and take them out. But it seems like they're doing a different plan now, going south, all of them. But I think Horsemen's E54 will be able to spot the south, since he always goes towards J1, so definitely looks like Horseman's going with the same start. I mean, sending one tank down to spot the south while keeping most of the other tanks towards the east side. BTI is changing it up though, sending all their heavies through the J line, with one RU spotting the middle and Harata spotting the other side. Hopefully doesn't take any damage here, gets away safely, so that's pretty good. Should be able to spot just Rex, so they should have some intel where he's going. But we can see TV just pushing up. They should be able to spot the T37, but yeah, they spotted each other, so they know where they are. Horsemen will start moving now. Last time we saw them play, we saw that they pushed like this onto here, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see the same thing coming out from them in a second. PTI is still pushing their heavies forward though. This is what we saw last time as well, with the team having their heavies in here, and didn't end well for them, so let's see if they can do better than the previous ones. Horsemen's moving more slowly though than the previous time. They're still holding their positions, so I'm not sure if they figure out what's going on, but they seem to be moving now slowly, and they're finally moving up now. It's more slowly than the previous time, but I guess they're being more cautious because they don't really want to lose, you know? Nobody wants to lose. Harata just dodging a shot there. Nothing too special. Might take one crossing here. Yeah, that's expected. 480, that's a very high roll. It's almost a max roll for an IS3. That's pretty lucky coming out. So Harata's down to 200 HP. Means he's a 2 shot for T37, 1 shot for 54 lightweight. And PTI seem to be driving back towards the south for some reason. They will be spotted doing this, so not 100% sure what they're thinking. They're pushing into an elevated Horseman. As we can see, Horsemen just have a lot of good positions on them. These two guys over here, they're just elevated onto them, so they can't really pen their underplate. Can't really see it either, and Horsemen just controlling the game right now. I mean, I don't see how BTI can get out of this pretty easily. And again, all the heavies are stuck in one sector. The T-37 is down to one shot. It might die crossing here. Gets lucky and hits the shot. But right now, BTI just, they seem to be unsure what to do. And Horsemen just controlling the game, playing control gameplay. I mean, they don't really need to do anything. There's no cap pressure, there's not anything. So for now, Horsemen in a really good situation, and BTI, I don't know why they moved back south. They were here and they moved back over here, and it didn't gain them anything. I mean, it would have been better if they kept pushing west. And Horsemen is doing one thing really well. They're keeping their lights close to their. Ooh, Spencer taking a big hit from Nexus. They're keeping their lights close to their heavies, so that the RUs have like minimal impact on the game right now, because they need to be able to pick off these lights. But the way Horseman is playing it, they're protecting their lights so well it's impossible. And I'm afraid for Reaper here, he might be taking a big hit if he decides to keep pushing. In the meantime, you can see the RUs are trying to flank over the north. I mean, this is a really long flank, and there's still the 5100 protecting the T-54, and it looks like King of Sidonia is moving down to spot this, so he will be able to. Yeah, they should be able to predict this. If Horsemen realize that there's 2 or 3 guys in the cap, they will just push these heavies. Looks like the heavies are pushing up now. Reaper Man down to a 1-shot. This push is too early, but they're trying to distract. What BTI is trying is they're trying to distract Horsemen so they won't get back to the cap, but it's not working out very well. EB is down to 350 HP. One more shot will take him down. Well, BTI is focusing on Archon and just didn't seem to be paying out this move. I mean, the idea was good, but the execution wasn't very well. Even Spencer's coming in to do some damage, while the RUs are getting picked off on the other side by the 5100s. There's not much they can do over there. Knight of Sidonia taking down the RU. Ricky does take down Feluso, but by now it's already over. It's a 6v2. There's not much they can do. Nexus will be the next one to fall, and then it's just Ricky left, and it's a 1v1 against a T-54. And the 54 is penetrating the RU with HE, so he's just winning this 1v1 easily. He switched back to AP now to finish it off, and he should have reload before him, so Ricky will go down here any second. If he doesn't bounce the shot, yeah, Ricky losing that 1v1. The plan from BTI was not bad in this situation. As we saw, they moved into the AB line with 3 guys, with 2 RUs and a T-54 lightweight. The problem was that Horsemen still had a 5100 and a T-54 light defending that, and they could win that 2 versus 3. Also, BTI pushed up with their heavies to try and distract Horsemen, but the problem with that was that it was too early. Horsemen weren't moving back towards the cap yet. They should have waited a little bit longer, make Horsemen turn around to go back towards the cap, and then do this push. But Horsemen picking up the second round, putting up to 2-0, 1 away from taking the grand final in this Go4WoT Asia. So BTI will be on the defense now, so when we swap in the sides, they'll get to defend. Now Horseman has to attack, and Horseman only has to win 1 more round, so I'm not 100%, I'm not sure that BTI can come back from this at all. So it just depends on how Horseman plays this out. I think they're in a really advantageous position. They just need to play it out smartly, and they'll be taking home the grand prize. But just waiting for the teams again, teams to pick up their lineups, get their tactics ready, and get back into the game. Well, we'll quickly look over the damage and check. Arata and Reaper, not so good, but you can see Feluso was the guy that was fighting the RUs. 6 shots, 5 hits, 5 penetrations. A 5100 against an RU is it is not very. It doesn't work out for the RU, because the RU is a 4-shot for the 50, and he can. Feluso would have been able to kill 1 RU and bring 1 to half HP alone. And you had Knight of Sidonia there, who was just supporting him and making sure that the RUs died for that. So not much that BTI could have done. It seems like Horseman is just takes the better position and doesn't give them away. So we're getting into the tank picking now. Very heavy lineups again, most likely. I really hope that they drop the RUs. I mean, it really hasn't worked out. We'll do it like Horsemen do with 1 T-54 max, and That just seems to be enough, you know. The RUs don't seem to be able to provide the advantage that you need to break down a heavy lineup, so I'm not sure why they keep bringing them every time. BTI bringing an IS-5. That's curious. I want to see how they use that one. The IS-5 is the campaign reward tank for the mini campaign. It's a pretty good tank, has the IS-8 hull, but the gun is kind of takes a very long time to aim. It's not always that reliable, and the armor is not as great as somebody would expect. So we'll see how they utilize that one. I mean, it's still a good tank though, but I'm not sure why anybody would use it over an IS-3, for example, or a 1110 even. Just waiting for both teams to finish off their pickings and we're getting this underway. Let's say that we're ready so they don't have to worry about us. Yes, still just waiting for teams to finish all their pickings. Seems like Horsemen is ready, we're just waiting for BTI also readying up. Should be getting underway any second now in the third round between Horsemen and BTI. Horsemen being up 2-0 right now, needing one more round, starting on the attack. And let's see what they decide to bring on their attack, if they can do better than BTI did. So for lineups we have, on BTI's side we have 2 IS-3s and IS-5, double T-32, a T-54 lightweight, and a T-37. For Horsemen we have a 5100, 4 IS-3s, a T-32 and a T-37. So when we get in, we'll take a quick look at the IS-5 and compare it to the IS-3. As you can already see, it is bigger, it's taller and bigger than an IS-3. So that's already a downside for the tank. If we look at it, it's bigger from track to track. It's also bigger, like turret-wise, it sticks out bigger. The hull's bigger. It's also longer. So it doesn't really have any advantage over the IS-3. And it seems like both teams are reading each other pretty well. Both are moving towards the southern cap. We'll be able to get a clash between Ricky and Spencer here in a second if Spencer's not careful. Does just dodge Ricky, and if Ricky doesn't get out of there soon, he'll take a lot of damage from those IS-3s pushing up. And Horsemen just trying to take the most advanced positions step by step, and I'm not sure what BTI is doing. These T-32s should be, yeah, they should be moving up to the road and using their hull down, you know. Should be hull downing these guys. I mean, they're playing afraid of the IS-3s while they're hull down. These IS-3s should be peeking on them, should be using their hull down potential. But for now, it seems like it does start peaking. Does a good hit, 298 while bouncing 2 shots. I like what Horseman is doing now, though. They realize that BTI is in this area over here, and they're already sending their scout over to the other side to clear it out. Although these IS-3s are fighting against T-32s full down, and it usually doesn't work out. But this flank coming out over here is pretty good, actually. There's nothing that... Look, Horseman is trying to... If we can see it from the overview, we can see Horseman is trying to surround BTI. We can see the surround coming out over here, and they're trying to push Knight of Sidonia over here, but once they realize that, they'll just push these 2 T-32s, which are out of position, and Falusa just seems to be moving up. And once he spots his 3... Yep, these 2 IS-3s and the 5100 are pushing EB and Irgu, and this should be going down very quickly. So they'll be able to trade very well right now. I mean, EB should be going down pretty quickly. 5100 clipping on him, not much he can do. 2 more shots and it'll go down, and he goes down. So that was not worth it at all for BTI to trade there. And Gorilla is behind a wreck. He gives himself a great hold-on position right here. So everything is in Horseman's favor right now. They have every position onto BTI, and they're just in the capture right now. And there's not much you can do. And Harata goes down as well. BTI is trying, but like now it just seems like Horsemen has every advantage on them. They have all the positions. Gorilla has a great hold down in. They still have the capture going, so I mean it's pretty close. So we're just waiting. Right now, Horsemen should just wait until Feluso is reloaded. When Feluso is reloaded, you'll be able to do a lot of damage. But two quick kills coming in for BTI, which puts Horsemen back in the disadvantage right now. Gorilla will be going down quickly. I mean, it's a big mistake from Knight of Sidonia and Joey going down like that for no reason, basically. They both died. Like, Sidonia died over here and none died over here, which is a big mistake because if you see Feluso was coming around through this side trying to put a flank on, so some mistakes coming out from Horsemen, and Feluso making a big mistake as well, peeking out onto 3 heavies. So BTI will be picking up this defensive round, even though being at a disadvantage. I didn't expect this. Horsemen kind of showing away the victory. I feel like they had the win in their hands, but some bad peaks costing them very much. I mean, we can see the HP difference. BTI doesn't have a lot of HP left, so if those 2 guys didn't die, then and they let Feluso reload, they'd be in a good situation. Just look at it. There's 900 combined HP for BTI, and I feel like Horsemen really lost this game by themselves, not by BTI as their move, but BTI will be picking up their first round on defense, bringing it down to 2-1, so kudos to them for bringing it back. But look at I was talking about how the IS-5 isn't better than the IS-3, and he goes out of his way to prove me and does 3.3k damage with the IS-5. Really well done. 10 shots, 10 hits, 9 penetration. Very nice. On the other side, we see Knight of Sidonia kind of lacking. 4 shots, 3 hits, 1 penetration. I mean, any of those if he penetrated all of his shots, they would have won this game as well. So, I mean, good job to BTI for bringing it back, even being in a disadvantage. So they'll be defending again, and Horsemen will be attacking again, and let's see. So, as said, the score is currently 2-1 for Horsemen. They're starting to repick now. I wouldn't see a lot of lineup changes. I mean, Horsemen lost more because of their own mistakes than BTI's play. I feel like they rushed it. Horsemen had the surround, and I feel like they took a lot of peaks and they rushed trying to finish off the game while they had Feluso trying to flank around. If they hold this area over here where I'm going with my mouse, which they were holding, and don't peek and let Feluso come behind, they would have been able to kill all those tanks, but they kind of rushed it and yeah, they put themselves in a bad situation. But good job for BTI for playing it out nicely though. So seems like BTI is going with the IS-5 again. I would do the same if I did 3.3k damage in it as well. So I don't think we'll be seeing a lot of lineup changes right here. I think it's going to be pretty much the same. It's just wondering how Horsemen is going to play out this battle this time. And as expected, we see Horsemen bringing out the same lineup as before. Wouldn't be surprised if the last tank will probably be the T-37 again. So same lineups coming up from either team most likely, while we wait for their last picks to be done. In this game, we could see though how both teams are defending the AB line very well, and making sure that the opponent cannot get into that one cap. Because that's the biggest struggle in this map, like we said before many times, and just gonna keep repeating it. You know, the one cap, if you let the enemy get in there, is gonna be impossible to retake. So very well done by both teams for that. It's just How they progress after that is also really important. Apparently one of the BTI members is having a DC be getting out of, that will be fixed very soon, we hope, and we're waiting for him to get back in the game so we can start. As soon as he's back, we should be able to get this match started. Then this will decide if we go to a tiebreaker or Horsemen will be winning this game. I think the tiebreaker is mine, so that would be really interesting to see. I haven't seen Horsemen yet on mines, I think, today, so it'd be nice to see them play. Alright, both teams are about to get ready. Both teams are ready, should be getting in it any second now. No lineups again, just as in the last game. BTI is going with 3 IS3s, an IS5, a T32, a T54 lightweight, and a T37. And from Horsemen, we have the AMX 5100, 4 IS3, IS3s, a T32, and a T37. I wouldn't be surprised if we have the same opening moves from either team progressing to begin with. Like both teams, I can see BTI taking a B line control again and Horsemen going south again. I don't think much will change. We'll be able to see if the IS-5 does 3.3k damage again though. Let's go check what Horseman is up to. It does seem like they're changing their strategy. They're moving towards the eastern side now, hoping that BTI won't be so defending there so aggressively like they did last time. And it seems like they've got it right. BTI seems to be moving way more south this time. If Horsemen can get into this cup, then they would be in a really good situation. I'm not sure BTI is going to be able to predict this. I mean, with the IS3 being, with Knight of Sidonia being over there, they might be overthinking it, thinking that Horseman is on the other side again. But in the same time, Horseman's already almost at the cap, and BTI is in a bad position right now. I think Horseman will be getting 2 to 3 guys in the cap in a second here. As we can see, this T32 is full down again and the IS3s are covering him. So Horseman is in a great position. BTI need to push now, and we have the T37 flanking right now from Horseman as well. Ricky's gonna have to commit to decap this. I mean, he's gonna have to drive over and try to get the reset, or this game might be over very soon for BTI. Let's go into the overview and check how BTI is trying to push back in. We can see them all trying to funnel through this little alleyway over here, and they should be taking a hell of a lot of damage. And the cap does get resetted, but at what cost? At what cost is this for BTI? I mean, they're just pushing in and will also just get easy side shots right now on their side, and it does look like Horseman is in a beautiful position now. That Archon should go down. Iguru went down for BTI already. Shivi is taking a lot of damage, and Archon is still alive. Ricky is a one-shot. Fluso bouncing Ricky, does take down Ricky now. Chibi is still a one-shot right now. He should be going down, and he goes down. It is a 6v4 right now. Fuluso's trying to empty his clip onto Harata. Harata should be going down any second now. Tier 6 light, and yeah, Horsemen just go into that one cap, taking that one cap and just putting so much pressure on BTI. We've seen this a few times today, and teams keep falling for it. As we can see, like, BTI came in funneling through here, and Horseman just had tanks here, and just in a beautiful position, and that will be GG for Horseman, taking this 3-1 normally. And Reaper on 9 HP, last time standing, should go down any second now. Might even get rammed to death in a spectacular fashion. Does get rammed to death by Luso. And that will be it. Horsemen will be taking down BTI with a 3-1 scoreline on Ghost Town. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to them for winning Go4WoT 13. As a rounding note, that I'd like to point out that you saw what the mistakes today, and I hope people take these mistakes into account and don't make the same mistakes themselves. We saw a lot of Ghost Town, and we saw a lot of one cap pressure and how teams failed to react to that. So hopefully, if you're watching this, like you will react to this earlier, to this one line cap and to this one cap and protect it better. And that was about all for me. Thank you for having me today, and it was a pleasure to cast this. And I'll be seeing you hopefully somewhere in the near future. And thank you for watching.